Hello, lovely humans. So we are back. By we, I mean me. Harry will be joining us in a second to help work our way through the Maria Tun calendar. With the passing of the summer solstice, everything is in full swing and full bloom, and the harvest is picked up, and the abundance of summer is truly arriving in all of her glory. And this means that planning a month ahead is really essential so that we can keep on top of pruning all our tomatoes, feeding our tomatoes, peppers, aubergines, cucumbers, all our harvesting that needs to be done, as well as possibly selecting certain plants that we want to save for seed, marking and monitoring them, and harvesting and drying them when they are ready. And biodynamic preps that can be used to help push that process forward a bit, like horn silica just before harvesting them. Okay, so teas that can be made for cabbage whitefly is wormwood tea. This can be made with 1 gram of wormwood to 5 liters of water. You'll bring this to a boil for 10 minutes, let cool, and then this can be sprayed directly onto the leaves of your brassica crops. Another little trick that can be used is once you finish pruning all your shoots off your tomatoes, you can lay the cuttings underneath your brassica plants, and cabbage whitefly does not like tomato plants. So I thought this was a good little trick, especially with all the abundance of cuttings from the pruning. Further insight into this can be found in the Maria Tun book. I'll show it to you. The Biodynamic Year. This is a very useful little book to refer to, and she goes into detail with various teas. Tomatoes love a nettle and oak bark tea. Dandelion tea can be used to enhance the aroma of your tomatoes, and yarrow tea helps to ensure that there's an abundance of fruit. Sowing and transplanting on time during this month is very important because every day missed in July equates to 2 extra days in the ground in August and up to a whole extra week in October. So it's very good to stay on top of this.
So starting with the 1st to the 2nd, as it's a leaf day, you could be planting out cabbages at this time. You could also be sowing lettuce, chicory and kale. On the 2nd's a fruit day after 3 p.m. and you could sow French beans or edamame. I just direct sow these into the soil. On the 3rd is a full moon, and between the 3rd and the 5th is grey or unfavourable, as the moon's in perigee and at its lowest point on the 4th. So it's best not to do anything, or not to do any sowings or transplantings on that day. The 5th to the 6th is a root day, and you could sow carrots now for autumn cropping, and some varieties that you could choose are Oxella, Nance, Amsterdam Forcing, Autumn King or Rhodolica. And you could also be sowing fennel bulb, beetroot, turnips, radish and kohlrabi. On the 6th to the 8th is a flower day, and this time of the year is a good time to sow biennials and perennials for flowering next spring and summer. So delphiniums, strelitzias, wallflowers, foxgloves and dianthus or pinks can be sown now.
It would also be a good time to harvest your yarrow flowers.
And from the 8th to the 10th is a leaf day again, so radicchio, endive, escarole, chicory, chard and kale. And then on the 22nd to the 26th is a root day, so you could sow daikon or mooli radish, and a variety that you could sow is Spanish black. From the 27th to the 29th, you could start sowing winter leaves like spinach, lettuce, and then herbs like chervil, coriander and parsley. and then on the 30th and 31st is a grey, as the moon's at its lowest point again. So again, best not to do anything then.
During these root days would also be a good time to see if any of your potatoes are ready to harvest, possibly take the leafy matter off to prevent the spread of blight. These fruit days are very good for the harvesting of your tomatoes, also for pruning of tomato plants. These leaf times or earlier in the month, also here, would be very good for harvesting your equisetum or horsetail to dry.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and that's all from us for the month of July.
Until September, happy farming and gardening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.